I'm Sarah Panko, and this is the ESA News Desk. Joining me now is Missy Zhang. He's the Managing Director for SunGrow Americas. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me today.
Yes, so let's start with what is SunGrow?
SunGrow is a manufacturer that produces PV inverter and all power conversion business. So we founded by a professor in university way back 22 years ago in 1997. And since that, we've been focusing on the energy storage business and also the PV business and other wind power conversion business. So we're very, very research and technology oriented. So at this point, we have deployed more than 79 gigawatts of the renewable assets around the world. And we have 3,500 employees, and which is 30% they are R&D, as I said. So we'll be very, very research oriented. So we'll keep expanding, and we are right now being ranked as #1 inverter manufacturer around the world, with over 55 countries subsidiary over the world. So we've been doing well in the PV, and also most importantly, we are expanding really rapidly in the energy storage business as well. So here we go.
And talking about PV inverters, because that's your specialty, so let's talk about that and some of the things that you've learned when you introduced that.
Okay, so great. So SunGrow, as one of the early PV inverter manufacturer around the world, as you can imagine, that we have gone through years and years consolidation. So in the past, we have learned a lot of lessons on the PV side. So we have gone through the major consolidation. We see a lot of players coming in and out, and we find out there's a lot of lessons to be learned. And what most importantly is what we found, a lot of lessons could be also applied to the energy storage. We believe that it's going to help the industry to really work together, to grow together, to really achieve what we need to be in the future. So one lesson that we learned is you need to have a really good product. I think this industry is really about the products. So the way we form our factory, the way we form out the company is very, very research oriented. So we always learning and always adopting the latest technology and let the latest technology to really lead our way to have a new product to be launched to the market. That's #1. #2, I think the service and the customer experiences in the market is always the same. So we have deployed a lot of projects in the US and also global. So in the US, we have the size of 200, 300, 400 megawatts, and the level of service requirement is very, very crucial for us to be successful. So that's why SunGrow also invests a lot of infrastructure and money into the service organization that we have in the USA. We have Phoenix service office that cover the entire United States, and also we have lots of service partners as well. So which really enable SunGrow to be able to handle that big project around the world. And speaking of the energy storage, so you not only have the inverter, you also have the battery, you have the integration piece. So the system tends to be more complex. So consider that the level of the technologies, the level of the service requirement is become enormous. So SunGrow does have the expertise and has experiences in the past, and more importantly, we use our experience to learn in the past and apply into the future product.
Okay, and speaking of future products, and you're research oriented, what can you tell us? Any recent developments? Any things that we can talk about here today?
Oh, sure.
Okay, great.
So SunGrow, a little bit of history in the past. So SunGrow did the first energy storage project in the 1998, surprisingly, with lead acid battery. So it's the first project that we have deployed in the railway signal. It's backup power. That's where the early stage of the energy storage project. As you can see, in the past 20 years, the product has been evolving and lots of new excitement, different application in the USA. So in the USA right now, we mainly focus on the CNI and the utility. The CNI mainly on the CNI market, such as SG in California, and also Massachusetts Smart Program PV Plus storage. So in terms of new products, right now we have the two major categories. One category is AC coupled solutions. So you pretty much put all the assets on the AC side. So we having feature with Samsung the E3 batteries, Mega E3 batteries. So that's coming up at the end of this year. So we have a 40-foot container which contains about a 5.2 megawatts hour in a single 40-foot container. So that is, I think, one of the highest power density that we have in the industry. On the other side, the PV Plus storage, which we also believe that will be a major application for the storage. So we have developed our DC coupled storage system for both string inverter and the central inverter as well. So I think that really covers the major application for energy storage in this market.
So what do you think the future of energy storage looks like?
Well, that's a very good question. The future, I think, it's very promising. You know, we have gone through a lot of consolidation. We see the market changes. We see the exactly about 10 years ago, I started the business about 2008. So, it's early stage of solar. As we can see, a lot of players, a lot of early adopters, but the market is not fully mature yet to the point that we can call it a standardized product fits all. Then you see, the market get more mature, the financial model get more mature, you have more a standardized product into the market. They're getting a lot of attention. So we go through the same process now. We see the light on the horizon, as per se, and we see a lot of financial model, a lot of applications such as PV plus storage, ancillary service, CNI, peak shaving, peak charge, demand management. So we see in the future there's three ways I think that would really push the envelope of the market. One I call that is really the modernization of the future grid, the grid edge, right? As you can see, a lot of the project right now in the market about T&D deferrals. So a lot of utility company retiring the coal power plant or gas peaker plant. In the process of retiring, you will find a way to replace those power plants, such as P plus storage, right? So be part of the grid assets, which we can really improve the resiliency of the grid. So that process, or the future process, will really accelerate adoption of the energy storage as part of the smart grid. So that's one category. The second category, I would say, is about distribution of the CNI and renewable generation. So you will see more and more distribution of CNI, application for the PV generation. So coupled with the storage as part of the renewable assets, it's really helped the grid and also really helped the modernization of I call that the distributed generation assets into the modern grid, right? The last part I think worth mentioning about is adoption of the electric vehicle charging stations. So right now, to give you a few examples, in the States, I think right now there are more than 200,000 electric vehicle cars running on the street. And the number in China is over 1 million. So the adoption of future electric vehicles, that can largely accelerate the process. Imagine, a lot of EV manufacturers, they put a charging poles either at a shopping mall, along the highway, or back in home. By having the adoption of the EV, will not only change the load profile. Imagine every day when you're going to charge your car, you will change the load file. Most importantly, that will change the paradigm, the whole grid, right? So the adoption of the EV, that will change the grid, that will change the profile of the grid, eventually will accelerate the adoption of the energy storage as well. So we believe that that's going to be three major push behind the scene that can really accelerate the process.
That'll be neat to see. Because I would get a solar car for sure. Definitely, if there were more areas to access things like that. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. This is the ESA News Desk.